In just the past few years, we've seen a lot of French colonies in Africa try to disintegrate from France, and this is something a lot of people call the effect of post-colonization. The video we're going to be checking out is titled The End of France in Africa, and I'm sure this is in relation to the coup we've seen in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, recently Gabon. I'm excited to check this one out, so let's get to it.
The era of Francafrique is over. We are not the ones saying this. These are the words of French President Emmanuel Macron in March early this year. Immediately after he was elected into office, Macron visited Burkina Faso and declared that he is from a generation that does not come and tell Africa what to do. But the question remains, has France really stopped meddling in the affairs of Africa? Early this morning, the Gabonese military seized power from the newly elected President Ali Bongo, who won the elections that were held on the 26th of August with about 65% of the votes. The coup was led by Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, the commander-in-chief of the Gabonese.
So let me clarify some things there. They said the election was won by about 65%, but if you've been following the news, you see the people in Burkina Faso said they did not support enough for him to get 65%. The people said the election was rigged. Now, speculatively, this is what we are hearing in Africa, but I don't think there's any strong facts to back this up, but the people are saying the election was rigged and this was the cause for the coup in the first place. As a matter of fact, he was trying to go for a third term illegally or illegitimately, so they had to take him out.
Republican Guard, the country's most powerful security unit and cousin to Ali Bongo. The coup in Gabon follows coups in other Francophone African countries like Mali, Guinea, Chad, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The French government has been notorious for its neo-colonial agenda in 14 African countries since after the Second World War. France is keeping a firm grip on many African countries through dictatorships because it is exploiting them to survive. After the coup in Niger, Macron was quick to react, saying that he won't tolerate any attack against France or its interest, and that Paris will retaliate immediately. But what really is the French interest that France wants to defend in Niger?
Right.
Niger is the 7th biggest producer of uranium in the world. In 2022 alone, Niger exported 17,615 tons of uranium to France, which constitutes 20% of France's uranium requirement. Do you see why France wants to keep control of Niger? France has had 14 African countries under its controls since Charles de Gaulle started Francafrique, and the rest of the world is saying nothing about it. However, Russia and China's influence and interest in the African continent have pushed out many dictators in these Francophone African countries. Most of the leaders of these 14 countries were puppets of France who were put in place to work for the interest of France over the interest of Africans. Unfortunately for them, Africans are rising and taking control of their countries. Benin, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Togo, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Guinea-Bissau, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea all have their currencies tied to the French central bank. These 14 countries must deposit 50% of their foreign reserves in the French treasury. This means that 14% of Africa's population living in over 965,000 square miles of African land, which represents about 12% of Africa's GDP, have no financial sovereignty. The Italian Prime Minister,
that's crazy, for so long, since World War II,
even criticized France's parasitic influence in Africa in a video that went viral.
Emmanuel Macron ci ha definiti vomitevoli, cinici, irresponsabili. E qui la stampa italiana a dire, hai visto che ha detto Macron, che siamo irresponsabili. Vergogna. Irresponsabile Emmanuel Macron sono quelli che hanno bombardato la Libia perché gli dava fastidio che l'Italia avesse un rapporto privilegiato in campo energetico con Gheddafi, esponendoci al caos migrazione nel quale ci troviamo. Cinici Emmanuel Macron sono i francesi che mandano la gendarmerie a rispedire indietro qualunque immigrato tenti di passare il confine a Ventimiglia. Ma soprattutto perché le cose vanno raccontate come si deve, vomitevole è chi... Buono, che lo vuoi tu? Ci hai mai tolto il pathos? Vomitevole è chi, come la Francia, continua a sfruttare l'Africa stampando moneta per 14 nazioni africane sulle quali applica il signoraggio, facendo lavorare bambini nelle miniere, estraendo materie...
And you know, I even said this in my previous video. So we saw pictures of the mines, and the people who did the mines were looking all dirty and all tired. But the money from the mine, they're not using it to the advantage of these people, but they are the ones doing the job, doing the hard labor, and it's even their property because it's their natural resource from their land, but they are not benefiting from it. So they are stealing their labor, stealing their natural resources, and the money, which would be stealing their capital as well. But it's crazy. No, to me, it's really crazy. And nobody was talking about this until now. When the coup happened, people tried to blame it on these countries to say these countries are trying to exit democracy. You know, all this fancy way of accusing people of things, they try to say it. But if you look at it, it actually feels like there's a valuable reason why these people are doing these things. Now, I'm not saying I support school. I don't know. I'm not a political scientist. I don't know what is right in this case. But I'm saying you gave them a reason. You know, these things they are calling, it seems like it's a reason for a coup, right? It seems like it.
Prime, come accade in Niger, dove la Francia estrae il 30% dell'uranio che gli serve a far camminare le centrali nucleari e il 90% dei nigerini vive senza elettricità. Non ci venire a fare lezioni, Macron, perché l'Africa scappa da voi. E la soluzione non è spostare gli africani in Europa, è liberare l'Africa da certi europei. Non accettiamo lezioni. Chiaro?
Melanie, I like
Consider this. 27 coups have taken place in sub-Saharan Africa since 1990, and 78% of them have been in Francophone Africa and were because of neocolonialist French policies. Ali Bongo and his father, Omar Bongo, ruled Gabon for almost a century as Ali was about to start his third term in power before he was welcomed with a coup. Just like in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, France has condemned the coup in Gabon, stating that the results of the elections held on August 26 be respected. There's no doubt that the coups in these countries will make other dictators and French puppets in Africa, like Paul Biya of Cameroon and Teodoro Obiang Guinabasogo of Equatorial Guinea, cautious and scared. In fact, Cameroon's presidential elections are to be held in 2025. Many Africans believe that a similar coup will take place in the country, while some believe that Paul Biya is untouchable. What do you think of the recent coups in French-speaking African countries? Should these countries...
We saw a video of him going to a press and he was asking, what am I doing here? Like, he was not sure he was even out of his house. Yeah, the video was on the internet. I'm not speculating. I think I probably brought it to the channel too. Yeah, the person they said is untouchable. He was not conscious of the fact that he was sitting in a press or in a meeting where lots of people, journalists and people were listening to him. I don't know why these people want to rule for so long. Why do you want all this power for so long? I would think when you get to a certain time or a certain age in your life, you want to rest, you want to go on a vacation. You have some money now, take a private jet and go to Greece and, with your family and enjoy yourself. Why do you want to rule for so long? You're ruling people for so long. Why do you want to do that? Don't you trust there could be another leader as good as you are? I mean, if you are good. Yeah, I don't know why this happens in Africa. One person will rule for like 30 years and there are other like millions or hundreds of millions in your nation. You don't think out of 1 million or 100 million, you don't think one other person could be a good leader? Why do you want to rule for so long? Doesn't make sense.
Even be referred to as Francophone or Anglophone Africa? Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, well, I'll end that one right there. Let me know what you think about the end of France in Africa. If you think France is going to react to the coup that just happened in Gabon, feel free to share with us. I would think they wouldn't try to interfere with the coup in Gabon. This thing is not a support or an advocation for coup d'etat. That's not what I'm doing here. I don't think anybody would actually advocate for coup, but what people advocate for is freedom and kind of like disintegration from post-colonization. That's what people in Africa would really want. Now, whether they've done the right thing by overthrowing the president or whether they've not, I think that's a case of letting them find out. If it was a mistake they made, they would find out. If it was the right thing they did, still they would find out. But let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. It's the end of this one. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a very wonderful day. Peace. I made this bet on my own, bet on my own.